Hey guys, welcome back to the Babbling Boots YouTube channel, where we babble about boots. This evening we're going to be gathering around the campfire to go over a brand that I've gotten several requests to do a review of, and that is Grantstone. This particular boot is the Grantstone Edward boot in Tobacco Wax Suede from Stead Tannery. And I think I originally bought these boots back in 2021 or 2020, somewhere late 2020, but who really remembers with the pandemic anymore? So I've had them roughly 2.5 years. I haven't gotten a whole lot of wear out of them. I have worn them around somewhat, but they're not my most worn boots by any means. So I do have a few thoughts on them that I would like to go over. But first, to go over some specs of it. This is the Edward boot, as I mentioned before. It's on the Leo Last. It has Goodyear welt construction all the way around it. It's just regular good welt. It's not like storm welted or anything. It comes with Grantstone's proprietary rubber studded outsole, which also feels, I think, a little bit smoother than a typical day-night sole, so you might get more traction off of this sole than you would regular day-night. It has 5 eyelets here and then 3 speed hooks, and it looks like it's probably an antique brass. I would imagine that's what they call it. The lining of it is, I believe, full grain kip lining, and it is, I believe, a full grain veg tan insole and midsole, and they do have, I think, a cork filling with a steel shank in it. So you're getting pretty much all natural components in this boot, which is very nice. I believe the heel counters are also veg tan leather. So there's not really, aside from the outsole of this boot, there's not really any materials that you wouldn't want in a high quality boot. There's no like foam filler, there's no, plastic heel counters or anything like that. It's all very high quality leather, which I think is very nice. So when I bought these back in 2020, they were on the website, I think, for $289-ish. I don't remember exactly, and I tried to find what I purchased them for, but I know it was $280 somewhere in there. I believe now on the website they're retailing for about $348, so they've gone up about $60-ish in that time frame. Regardless of that, though, even with a $60 increase at $348, I think they're still an excellent value because looking at the boot, the stitching looks great. I mentioned the all natural components. It feels like a fairly substantial boot. There's not any issue with the welt. The welt's very cleanly done. It is made in China, and that's not something they shy away from. It does say right here on the tongue of it that it's made in China, so it's not like they're trying to hide that from you. And I think there's definitely people that don't like the fact that it's made in China. Some people are like, oh, why would you pay for a boot that's made in China when you could buy one that's made in Spain or the US or anywhere of that nature. But I think the main thing to me is that you can be a craftsman in any country. Craftsmen aren't just limited to Western countries like the US and Europe. And to make a boot like this, you can't just be anyone. You need to be very skilled at boot making to make something of this quality. So I think that's one thing to consider. Yes, it's made in China, but the people that are making the boots know how to make boots very well. And in this price range, I think the closest competitors you have are probably going to be something like Red Wings, Iron Rangers, but those are more of like work boot aesthetic. This is more of a dress boot, so I don't know that that's a very fair comparison either. You've got like Allen Edmonds, and they're more known for making dress shoes than they are for boots. For the quality though, I think the closest competitor would probably be something like Alden. And even then people say that Alden's kind of been going downhill over the past years to a decade or more. So this is honestly probably still higher quality than you'd find at Alden for $600+. Then you go above $600 and you get into things like Viberg. There's like Clinch, White Cloud, a bunch of other Japanese boot makers. So I think for the price, mid $300, there's really not a lot of other comparable companies. I guess there is Caswell now, Caswell Bootmakers, that I think is an up-and-coming bootmaker. He is based out of DC, I think, and they make their boots, I think, somewhere in South America. But they're comparable in price to Grantstone, and they look very similar. So, Caswell boots might be something to check out. I don't have any of their boots, so I can't really attest to the quality, but I think they might be the closest competitor to Grantstone. I've kind of touched on what I like about the boots, the build quality, the price that you're getting it for, the materials that it's made out of, the stitching, everything about that's great. I think my biggest complaints about the boots and why I don't really wear them all that frequently, these are honestly, to be honest, probably some of my least worn boots that I own. And there are a few reasons for that. One is that I really like cap-toe boots. Like all of my other boots are pretty much cap-toe boots. I really wanted, back in when I bought these, a pair of waxed suede boots, and I love the way these look on the website. And I think they look great in person. Not on my feet though. I think they look better as like a visual thing to look at. When I have them on my feet and I look down at my feet, I'm not really digging the non-cap toe silhouette. For some reason, I just really like a cap toe on my boots. And part of that might just be because when you flex your foot a lot and you develop creases in your boot, it's harder to tell with this one, but you can kind of see where creases are forming. I just think it doesn't look as clean without a cap toe there. I think the cap toe really just kind of rounds it out. So that's why, I've had Meermans, I've had Grantstones, aside from Chelsea boots, my Vibergs, the only one out of those that's not cap toe is, like I said, the Grantstones. And I've tried to get more into it, but I just don't think it's really my thing. I'm still on the lookout for a pair of non-cap toe boots that I like. So you will see more boots without a cap toe on my channel as I try to hunt down one that is my thing. But right now, I don't think it's these, unfortunately, because I do really love the build quality of them. I think they're a great value. And if you love non-cap toe boots, by all means, you should look into these. The sad thing for me is Grantstone really doesn't make a lot of cap toe boots. I wish they made more. Well, actually, I don't wish they made more cap toe boots because then I would buy them. I think on their website, the only boots that they have that are cap toe, I know they have like the Forest Green Kudu that's cap toe. They have, I think, some Chrome XL ones that are cap toe and maybe some calf ones. So they do sell cap toe boots, but they're not in kind of the leathers or styles that I would like. I have Chrome XL boots that are cap toes. I have, calf skin boots that are cap toes, but I wish they would really expand their cap toe line of boots because I think that that's kind of a missed opportunity on their part. The other thing that I don't really like about these boots is kind of the way the last fits me. And I know a lot of people love the Leo last. People say it's the most comfortable last they've ever worn. For me, the issue is, and I think it's mostly in the heel of my foot. With my Vibergs, I guess the easiest way to really compare it is Viberg, the heel is a little bit bigger from top to bottom. The Grantstone one kind of thins out here. So when I slip my foot in it, I don't really feel like it's cupping the heel of my foot as much as the Viberg ones. It just feels like my foot's not really as secure. And when I'm walking, I can kind of feel it coming up a little bit because I just don't feel like it's that cup on the back of it. So that's probably like the main thing that I would have a complaint about as far as fit goes. These are an 8D. As I mentioned before, my Brannock size is 8.5C, and Grantstone does recommend sizing the half size down to whatever your regular size is. As they say, which regular size, I'm assuming they mean Brannock device size. So 8 should be the right size for me. Whether it should be 8C, 8D, I don't know. I'm thinking that this 8D is actually probably more preferable for me than if I tried to get an 8C, because in my left foot, and I'll see if I can put up a picture of it, but my pinky toe kind of protrudes a little bit on the left side, and then my inside the ball of my foot kind of protrudes a little bit on the inside of it here. And so it kind of pokes out a little bit, and it does get a little bit uncomfortable over time. I think over time though, if I wore them really consistently all the time, I think that leather breaks in and they would stretch out and get more comfortable. But that's just, for me, I think those are the only qualms I really have. And those are just personal qualms, like I said, right? Like everyone's feet are different. If your foot fits this boot last and it's really comfortable for you, then this is probably the boot for you. And if you like non-cap toe boots, then this is excellent. Those are just kind of the small things that keep me back from wearing these more. And I still do wear these. I just, like I said, I don't wear them all that often because I have so many other boots to wear. that I have to, everyone that wears boots, I feel like you have your most worn boots and you kind of have like a hierarchy of boots that you like to wear the most, even if you like don't want to admit it to yourself because you paid a lot of money for all these boots and you like to think you wear them all equally. You probably don't, and I know I don't, and I'm okay admitting that. So another thing I want to do is, I've touched on the kind of the comparison to Viberg. I do have my Vibergs in 7.5 UK sizing for Viberg, 7.5E. So these are technically, I guess, US sizing would be 8.5. I just stick to the UK sizing because that's what's in the boot and that's just easier for me to remember. So if we compare just the left boots on these, you can definitely see that the Viberg boot is just wider in the toe box, and that really helps out my foot, especially my left foot. I think might be a little bit longer and maybe slightly wider. So having this extra room here really helps my foot. I know that it sounds like I'm really just being like a shill for Viberg, but for whatever reason, their boot, just the 2030 last in particular, just fits me really well. And I will say, just so people think I'm a Viberg shill, I do own a pair of their slides and those don't fit me very well, and I don't really wear them that much because I don't like the fit of them. So Viberg's not all that great in every respect. But for this boot in particular, on the 2030 last, it fits my foot about as perfectly as I'd want a boot to fit. And that includes in the heel of the foot. You can see the heel, I don't know if I can get this on camera, but the Viberg heel is wider from top to bottom. The Grantstone one, it looks like it kind of just narrows and tapers out a little bit more sharply as it comes up. And I think the Viberg one, as I mentioned, just cups my whole heel more, so there's not like heel slippage. It just feels like a much more secure hold than this one. And I think that's just the biggest complaint that I have with these, is just that heel cup slippage keeps me from wearing them more. While I have these out, I will do kind of just a weight comparison of them, as I do in every video that I make now. So the right Grantstone boot is 1 pound, 10.5 ounces. The left one is 1 pound, 10.6 ounces. It is just a hair heavier. And then I know I've weighed these before, but just to context, so I'm not going to weigh both. This is 1 pound, 11 ounces. Wait, are these really that similar in weight? 1 pound, 10.6 ounces. 1 pound, 10.8 ounces. Wow, I didn't realize these were that similar in weight. They do feel pretty similar in weight though, now that I'm holding them. This one definitely feels like it could be like 0.4 ounces more though in the hand, if anyone's curious. But that's pretty cool that they're actually that similar in weight. And that does speak to, again, this boot, nearly $800. This boot, $348 now. This one's almost twice as much, and this one is nearly equally as substantial in the hand and on the feet. So that really, again, just underscores the quality of the components and the construction you get from Grantstone, that they're even close to Viberg, not only in weight, because that's not the only metric, but just the quality of the materials they use, all leather components pretty much. The construction's great. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about them other than my personal preferences of the shape of the last, which I can't help, and then just my preference for cap toe. Other than that, these boots are really nice, and I think that if you are in the market for high quality boots, but you don't want to spend Viberg prices for boots, Grantstone is definitely one of your best options in this price range. As a PSA, my wife really insisted that I also bring up the fact that the left boot, well, they're probably the same, honestly, but the Grantstone heel here is 1 centimeter bigger than the Viberg heel here, and maybe that could have something to do with the heel slippage as well, that it's a little bit bigger by 1 centimeter and then tapers more sharply, whereas this one is a little more narrow, but it stays that width for a longer period of time. And maybe that's why my heels prefer this one. I'm not sure, but it's a theory that she did want me to mention, so I'm mentioning it in this video right now. As far as styling these look great. I do want to say, like I mentioned before, these almost just look like a boot I want to stare at and not wear. You could wear these with like business casual attire. You could wear these casually with just pants, chinos, a button-down shirt. I don't think you'd want to wear these with a suit, probably not getting away with that. But, you know, you could wear these into the office for sure if you still go into the office, if you're one of those people that does that regularly. You could wear these into your office and you could be sitting at your desk, and if you ever feel not happy about being in the office, you can look down at your boots and be like, at least I have my boots on my feet that I like a lot. And you would be okay in life with that. But yeah, you could just wear these, like I said, jeans, chinos, slacks, anything below a suit basically, I think you'd be good with. Also, as far as like denim color, these are darker boots, so maybe stick to like a lighter colored denim, like a light wash denim. I don't think I would want to wear these with like very dark wash, you know, that's like really dark blue. You might be able to wear these with like khaki colored denim because they are dark enough for it, but I think overall I would stick to more of a light wash for these because of the color. At least, so here's another thing I didn't mention. These are Stead suede boots, which means that they are waxed. So over time when you wear these, this wax will come off and it will scuff off, and you'll be able to see the suede under it. And it'll eventually, if you were to wear them enough, they would just become a full suede boot. There wouldn't be any wax. The reason mine still waxy is I've actually re-waxed these a couple of times because I just like the shiny look of the wax more, and then just letting suede kind of come through every now and then. I don't really want the full suede look for these, but if you do, you just keep wearing these, they will become a full suede boot. And if you don't like a full suede boot, I would recommend either finding a different grandstone boot or just re-waxing these. You can use wax to re-wax these. I don't really have a wax brand to recommend, but they're out there. Maybe you could use, I actually used Venetian shoe cream, I think, before it really got heavily nappy, just to kind of touch it up in areas. If you put a little Venetian shoe cream on it, it will kind of put the nap back down. And then I think I have Otter's wax, just like Otter shoe wax you can put on it and rub that in as well. I might do a video in the future, kind of maybe trial and error on re-waxing some wax, because I know that my Vibergs also have some kind of suede parts coming through, so maybe I'll wear these a little bit and then also do a little bit of re-waxing on both of these and test those out to see how that works out, and then post a video of that. But yeah, if you keep wearing these through, eventually they will become a lighter brown suede color. And if I bend here, you can kind of see it looks almost like a little bit of like a reddish dirt color coming through there. So it's like a reddish brown color under there. It's a little bit lighter. It's definitely not as dark as this. So over time, once these do lighten up to that suede color under it, you could start wearing these with darker pants and they would look perfectly fine with that. So to summarize, I think that these boots are a great value in the 300-ish range. You're probably not really going to find a better value than that. They're on par with Vibergs in the quality of materials they use and even the construction. You might be wondering, why would you even get Vibergs in? Vibergs just have a certain silhouette and style about them. You know it when you see it and you put it on your feet, that to me at least, they just have something about them. Well, the fit for me will be the main thing about them. It feels better than Grantstone. But just, I really like the silhouette of the Viberg boot, and I'll pull it out again. I don't need to keep going over this, but I just really like the service boot silhouette. These are a little bit dressier than the Viberg boots, which is more of just kind of an aesthetic thing. Typically, I wear my boots with jeans or you know, casually, so I prefer more of the service boot look, whereas these to me would look better with probably something slightly dressier. Which is why I only wear them more so when I'm going out somewhere. But other than that, I think that they're comparable. If you look at a Viberg boot and you're like, I don't really like the look of that, why would I want it? Buy the Grantstone one instead. If you love the look of the Viberg ones, then I would say check that out as well. So this has been my review of the Grantstone Edward boots. on the Leo last. Stay tuned. I will have more boot reviews and boot adventures coming up. Thanks, guys.